1978. A bunch of unknown actors, a $3 million budget, and one man in a toga who turned a food fight into the highest-grossing comedy of its time. John Belushi. Before he was Bluto, he was the co-captain of his high school football team and his school's homecoming king. We're saving his story for the very end, and believe me, you don't want to miss it. But first, before we count down the full cast of Animal House, then and now in 2026, tell me something. Who were you with the first time you watched Bluto crush that beer can on his forehead? Your college roommate? Your brother? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. 12 faces, one legendary cast. Let's find out where they are now, starting with a man who talked his way into the role of a lifetime.
Otter. The grin, the charm, the guy who could talk his way into and out of absolutely anything. Tim Matheson was 30 years old when he filmed Animal House, but here's what the producers didn't expect. They wanted Tim for the other side, one of the uptight, snobbish Omegas. Tim looked them dead in the eye and said, quote, "I'm tired of playing it straight." He fought for Otter. He won, and the rest is comedy history. Now, what most people don't realize is that Tim was already a veteran by then. He'd been acting since he was 13. His very first role? The original voice of Johnny Quest in 1964. That adventurous kid you heard on Saturday mornings, that was a teenage Tim Matheson. After Animal House, he built a career that quietly became one of the most impressive in Hollywood. Vice President John Hoynes on The West Wing, earning 2 Emmy nominations. Dr. Brick Breland on Heart of Dixie. Director of episodes of Criminal Minds, Burn Notice, Suits, White Collar. The list doesn't stop. So where is he right now? Tim Matheson is 78 years old, and he's not slowing down for a second. Since 2019, he has starred as Doc Mullins on the Netflix hit Virgin River. 7 seasons in, the show just got renewed for an 8th, and Tim is at the center of it. In a recent interview, he said the show is like a throwback to Mayberry, a place where people actually show up for each other. He's also releasing the paperback of his memoir, Damn Glad to Meet You, filled with stories about working alongside Lucille Ball, Henry Fonda, and John Belushi himself. From a 13-year-old voice actor to a 78-year-old leading man on the biggest streaming platform in the world, Otter grew up, but he never stopped working. If Otter was the smooth talker, Boon was the guy you'd actually want to grab a beer with. Not the loudest Delta in the room, just the most real. Peter Riegert was born April 11, 1947 in the Bronx, New York. And before Hollywood ever found him, he was standing in front of a classroom full of 8th graders, teaching. He waited tables, he did social work, he tried everything before he finally bet his life on acting. Animal House was his very first film, and from there, Peter did something unusual. He didn't chase fame, he chased craft. 1983, Local Hero, a tiny gem of a film about an oil company man sent to buy a Scottish village. It became a cult classic. 1993, Barbarians at the Gate on HBO, earning him an Emmy nomination. Then The Sopranos, playing a crooked New Jersey politician. Then the final episode of Seinfeld as the president of NBC. And if you watched Succession on HBO, he was there too, season 3. But here's the one nobody sees coming. Peter Riegert, Boon from the Delta House, wrote and directed a short film called By Courier in the year 2000. It was nominated for an Academy Award, from Boon to Oscar nominee. Let that sink in. Today, Peter Riegert is 79 years old. He married novelist Cornelia Reed in 2019, and he continues to work, steadily, quietly, on his own terms. He never became the biggest name on the marquee, but every time he showed up, in The Mask, in The Sopranos, in Succession,
You believed every word. Coming up next, she walked out of the Delta house and straight into one of the greatest adventure films ever made. And what she does with her hands today will completely surprise you. Every great college movie needs someone who sees through all the nonsense. In the Delta house, that was Katy, Boon's girlfriend, the one woman who could roll her eyes at the chaos and still stick around. Karen Allen was born October 5, 1951, in Carrollton, Illinois. Her father was an FBI agent, so the family moved constantly. She barely stayed 1 year in any city growing up. She didn't even think about acting until college, when she wandered into a play and something clicked. She trained at the Lee Strasberg Theatre Institute in New York, and within a few years, she was on screen. Animal House was her film debut, but it was what came 3 years later that changed everything. Steven Spielberg saw her work in Animal House, and he cast her as Marion Ravenwood opposite Harrison Ford in Raiders of the Lost Ark. 1981, she won the Saturn Award for Best Actress, and just like that, Katy from the Delta house became one of the most iconic heroines in movie history. She came back as Marion again in Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull in 2008, and co-starred with Jeff Bridges in the sci-fi classic Starman in 1984. Now here's where Karen Allen's story takes a turn nobody expected. Instead of chasing blockbuster after blockbuster, she stepped back. She moved to the Berkshires in western Massachusetts. She became a mother, and then she reinvented herself entirely. In 2005, she opened a store called Karen Allen Fiber Arts in the small town of Great Barrington. She designs and creates handmade knitwear, cashmere scarves, jackets, hats, on hand-manipulated Japanese knitting machines. The store just celebrated its 20th anniversary in 2025. She's 74 years old today. She still acts. She has 2 films in production right now in 2026. She still runs her shop, and she still carries herself with the same fierce independence that made Marion Ravenwood unforgettable. All right, let's be honest for a second. Seeing Karen Allen again, that smile, that fire, it brings something back, doesn't it? How many of you had a little thing for Marion Ravenwood, or maybe it was Otter's grin that got you? Don't be shy, confess in the comments. I know I'm not the only one. Pinto, the wide-eyed freshman, the kid who showed up at Faber College with no idea what he was getting into, and somehow survived the Delta House initiation, the toga party, and the parade. Tom Hulce was born December 6, 1953, in Detroit, Michigan. He grew up wanting to be a singer, but when his voice changed as a teenager, he made a sharp left turn into acting. His very first professional job? Understudying opposite Anthony Hopkins in Equus on Broadway. Not a bad start. 6 years after playing Pinto, Tom Hulce did something extraordinary. He taught himself to play the piano and to conduct an orchestra. Then he walked onto a soundstage and became Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. In Amadeus, 1984, that wild, giggling genius Mozart, that was the same kid who played Pinto. He earned an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor. He went on to voice Quasimodo in Disney's The Hunchback of Notre Dame in 1996, giving a performance so gentle it made grown men cry. And then, Tom Hulce did something almost unheard of in Hollywood. He walked away. In the mid-90s, he quietly stepped off screen and moved behind the curtain. He became a Broadway producer and won the Tony Award for Best Musical in 2007 as lead producer of Spring Awakening. He's 72 years old now. He lives on his own terms, far from the red carpet. Pinto grew up, played Mozart, voiced a Disney legend, won a Tony, and chose silence over spotlight. Now, there's one Delta brother we haven't talked about yet. The one who got his nickname because he was, well, out of his depth. And the way he landed that role? It starts with a pizza box.
Flounder, the heart of the Delta. House. He wasn't the coolest, he wasn't the loudest, but he was the one you rooted for. Because every single one of us has felt like Flounder at some point in our lives. Stephen Furst was born Stephen Nelson Feuerstein on May 8, 1954, in Norfolk, Virginia, and the story of how he got the role of Flounder is one of the greatest Hollywood stories you'll ever hear. He was a young, unknown actor in Los Angeles, struggling to get noticed, so he took a job delivering pizzas. But here's what made him different. He slipped his headshot into every single pizza box he delivered. One of those boxes ended up in front of producer Matty Simmons. Simmons looked at the photo and called him in to audition. That pizza box changed his life. After Animal House, Stephen built a wonderful career. Dr. Elliot Axelrod on St. Elsewhere from 1983 to 88, and the beloved Ver Cotto on Babylon 5 from 94 to 98. He also moved behind the camera, directing films and producing for the Hallmark Channel and Sci-Fi. Stephen Furst left us in 2017. He was 63 years old. We'll honor him properly in our tribute, but for now, just know this. The kid who put his headshot in a pizza box went on to touch millions of lives. Oh boy, was he great. All right, let's shift to the other side of Faber College, because the Delta House wasn't the only one with unforgettable characters. Up next, the man on the motorcycle who played the William Tell Overture on his own throat. D-Day, the biker, the wild card, the guy who rode his motorcycle up a staircase and never once looked back. Bruce McGill was born July 11, 1950, in San Antonio, Texas. He studied drama at the University of Texas at Austin, and when he showed up to audition for Animal House, he was a young, unemployed actor desperate for any role he could get. He got D-Day, and then he did something nobody expected. That scene where D-Day plays the William Tell Overture by drumming his fingers on his own throat? That wasn't a special effect. Bruce McGill actually did that with his own hands on his own neck. He later did it again in MacGyver to put a baby to sleep. After Animal House, Bruce became one of the hardest working character actors in the business. Jack Dalton on MacGyver from 85 to 92, Sheriff Dean Farley in My Cousin Vinny in 92, 3 films for Michael Mann, The Insider, Ali, and Collateral, Detective Vince Corsack on Rizzoli and Isles for 7 seasons, even Secretary of War Edwin Stanton in Steven Spielberg's Lincoln. He's 75 years old in 2026, over 170 credits to his name. You might not always remember his name, but you have never forgotten his face. That's the mark of a true character actor. Now we cross over to the dark side of Faber College, the Omegas, the villains, and one man whose scream became so iconic, a heavy metal band built an entire music video around it.
You're all worthless and weak.
If you just heard that line in your head, with the veins popping, the spit flying, the eyes bulging, then you already know exactly who we're talking about. Mark Metcalf was born March 11, 1946, in Findlay, Ohio. He's 80 years old today, and his path to Neidermeyer is a story of pure nerve. He originally auditioned for the role of Otter, didn't get it. So when the role of the sadistic ROTC commander came up, a role that required horseback riding, Mark told the producers he absolutely knew how to ride a horse. He was lying. The moment he got the part, he rushed straight to riding lessons, and somehow he pulled it off. That furious, over-the-top Neidermeyer persona became so legendary that in 1984, the heavy metal band Twisted Sister built their iconic music video, We're Not Gonna Take It, around it. Mark played the tyrannical father screaming at his son. Same veins, same rage, same energy. He did it again in the video for I Want a Rock. A whole new generation of kids met Neidermeyer without ever seeing Animal House. He later played the maestro on Seinfeld, the pretentious conductor dating Elaine, and the master, the ancient vampire on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. At 80 years old, Mark Metcalf lives in Columbus, Ohio. After years in Hollywood, he moved to the Midwest and poured his energy into local theater and mentoring young filmmakers. He created a student screenwriting competition through the Milwaukee Film Festival, teaching high school students the craft of writing for the screen. The man who screamed, "You're all worthless and weak," spent his later years telling young people they were anything but. Every fraternity movie needs a villain in a polo shirt. Greg Marmalard was that villain, the Omega chapter president, the preppy snob, the guy who smiled to your face and stabbed you in the back. And James Daughton played him so well that his name became shorthand for entitled old money arrogance in American culture. James was born June 27, 1950, in Chula Vista, California, and raised in San Diego. He's 75 years old today, and before Animal House, he'd already been working steadily in television, Marcus Welby MD, Room 222, Planet of the Apes. But here's a piece of trivia that's going to make your jaw drop. You know the phrase, "jump the shark," the expression people use when a TV show goes downhill? That phrase exists because of an episode of Happy Days where Fonzie literally water skis over a shark. And the man who challenges Fonzie to that jump, the guy standing on the dock daring him to do it, was James Daughton. Marmalard didn't just play a villain in Animal House. He accidentally helped create one of the most famous phrases in television history. After Animal House, James continued working, Spies Like Us in '85 alongside Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd, plus roles in The Beach Girls, Blind Date, and guest spots across 80s and 90s television. He wasn't the biggest star to come out of Faber College, but he left a mark that's still part of the American vocabulary. We're halfway through, and the names only get bigger from here. Coming up, a man whose very first movie was Animal House, and who became so famous that a group of college students invented an entire game based on the idea that every actor in Hollywood is connected to him. Stay right there. All right, you've been waiting for this name. Chip Diller, the Omega Pledge, the kid who stood at attention, took a paddling, and said, with a straight face, "Thank you, sir. May I have another?" Kevin Bacon was born July 8, 1958, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. His father, Edmund Bacon, was such a prominent city architect that he once appeared on the cover of Time magazine, but Kevin didn't want to build buildings. He wanted to be on screen. He left Philadelphia at 17 to study at the Circle in the Square Theatre School in New York's Greenwich Village, and his very first film credit? Animal House, 1978. He was 20 years old, playing a tiny role as an Omega Pledge. One scene, one paddling, one line. Then came Dinah in '82, then Footloose in '84, and suddenly, Kevin Bacon wasn't just an actor, he was a movie star. Friday the 13th, Flatliners, JFK, A Few Good Men, Tremors, Apollo 13, Mystic River. The man became so ubiquitous in Hollywood that in 1994, a group of students at Albright College in Reading, Pennsylvania, invented a game called 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. The idea that every actor in the world is connected to him within 6 films or fewer. He won a Golden Globe for the HBO film Taking Chance in 2009. He starred as Sebastian Shaw in X-Men First Class. He led the crime series City on a Hill on Showtime, and he has been married to actress Kyra Sedgwick since 1988, 38 years and counting. They have 2 children, both in the entertainment business. Right now, in 2026, Kevin Bacon is 67 years old, and he's everywhere. He starred in The Bondsman on Amazon Prime in 2025. He appeared in Maxine,
and Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. in 2024. He has a new film called Family Movie completed for 2026. Almost 50 years after he stood in a fraternity house taking a paddling with a straight face, Kevin Bacon is still one of the most in-demand actors on the planet. But there's one more, the one you've been waiting for since the very first second of this video. Number 1.
2 days.
Donald Sutherland was on the set of Animal House for just 2 days, and he nearly didn't do it at all. Donald McNichol Sutherland was born July 17, 1935, in St. John, New Brunswick, Canada. By 1978, he was already one of the biggest movie stars on the planet. MASH in 70, Clute in 71, Don't Look Now in 73, Kelly's Heroes, Fellini's Casanova. He was 43 years old and already a legend. Director John Landis needed a star to get the film green-lit. He called his friend Donald, the same Donald whose son Kiefer he used to babysit. Sutherland said yes, and Landis has said it plainly. Without that yes, there is no Animal House. Every career that was launched by this film, Kevin Bacon, Tom Hulce, Karen Allen, owes a debt to Donald Sutherland, picking up the phone. Now, here's the part that hurts. Universal offered Sutherland a choice: $25,000 cash for his 2 days of work, or 2% of the film's gross profits. He took the cash. He figured this goofy little college comedy wouldn't make a dime. Animal House went on to earn over $141 million. By Sutherland's own estimate, that 2% would have been worth around $14 million. 25,000 or 14 million. He laughed about it for decades. After Animal House, his career only grew. The Grieving Father in Ordinary People, 1980, a pivotal role in Oliver Stone's JFK, and for a whole new generation, President Snow in The Hunger Games, the kind of quiet menace that reminded the world just how powerful a great actor can be. In 2017, the Academy finally gave him what was long overdue, an honorary Oscar coming up, the man with the deepest voice in Faber College, the man who put an entire fraternity on double-secret probation, and whose real name is one of the most extraordinary things you'll hear today. Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son. That line has been quoted at dinner tables, in dorm rooms, and at office parties for nearly 50 years, and the man who delivered it was nothing like what you'd expect. His real name was Adolphus Raimondus Vernon Agopsovich. Let that name wash over you for a second. He was born February 24, 1932, in Zena, Saskatchewan, Canada, a tiny farming community on the prairies. His family was of Armenian and Polish descent, having emigrated from the Bukovina region of the old Austro-Hungarian Empire, from a Saskatchewan wheat field to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. In London, known as RADA, to Hollywood. That's a journey. Before he ever set foot in Faber College, John Vernon had already worked with the greats. Alfred Hitchcock directed him in Topaz, 1969. Don Siegel cast him as the ineffectual mayor of San Francisco in Dirty Harry, 1971. Clint Eastwood chose him for the treacherous Fletcher in The Outlaw Josie Wales, 1976. That deep, rumbling voice, that ice-cold stare. He was born to play men who held power and wielded it without mercy. And then came Dean Wormer, the role that made him immortal. 0.0, double-secret probation, lines that entered the American vocabulary and never left. He reprised the role in the TV spin-off Delta House in '79, and later turned up in a satirical DVD update, playing an elderly Wormer in a wheelchair, still scowling. His daughter, Kate Vernon, once said that her father loved the comedy, but his heart was always in the dramatic roles.
He was a classically trained actor who happened to make the whole world laugh. There's only one name left, the name you've been waiting for since the first second of this video. Number 1. There's no countdown of Animal House without this man at the top. John Adam Belushi was born January 24, 1949, in Chicago, Illinois, to Albanian immigrant parents. He grew up in Wheaton, Illinois. His father, Adam, ran a restaurant. His mother, Agnes, kept the family together. And young John? He was everywhere at once. Class clown, athlete, drummer in a rock band. His drama teacher at Wheaton Central High School saw something in him. He told John to forget coaching football, the career John had planned, and try acting instead. John listened. He joined the Second City comedy troupe in Chicago. He met Dan Aykroyd, and in 1975, he became one of the original 7 cast members of a brand new late-night sketch show on NBC, Saturday Night Live. The Samurai, the Killer Bees, the Cheeseburger sketch. America had never seen anything like him. That raw, explosive, fearless energy that felt like a live wire had been set loose on national television. And then came Animal House, 1978. Bluto Blutarsky, the toga, the food fight, the eyebrow raise, the speech. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? John Belushi didn't just play Bluto, he became him. And Bluto became immortal. 2 years later, he and Dan Aykroyd brought The Blues Brothers to the big screen, a film that somehow combined car chases, soul music, Aretha Franklin, Ray Charles, and James Brown, into one of the wildest movies ever made. What people sometimes forget is the John Belushi that existed off-screen. He used his money to buy his father a ranch. He helped old friends from Chicago start businesses. He looked out for his younger brother Jim, who would follow his footsteps to Second City and Saturday Night Live. John Belushi left us on March 5, 1982. He was 33 years old. 33. An entire universe of laughter, packed into 33 years. Before we go, we need to take a quiet moment. Because 4 of the people who made Animal House unforgettable are no longer with us. Stephen Furst, our Flounder, the kid who put his headshot in a pizza box and changed his life forever. He left us in 2017. He was 63 years old. Donald Sutherland, Professor Jennings, the man whose single phone call made Animal House possible. He left us in June of 2024. He was 88. His son Kiefer wrote, "He loved what he did and did what he loved, and one can never ask for more than that." John Vernon, Dean Wormer, the man from a Saskatchewan wheat field who made double-secret probation part of the American language. He left us in February of 2005. He was 72. And John Belushi, our Bluto. He left us on March 5, 1982. He was 33 years old. An entire universe of laughter in 33 years. To Stephen, to Donald, to John Vernon, and to John Belushi, thank you for the laughter. Thank you for the memories. You are missed more than words can say. Time moves so incredibly fast. But these memories, these faces, these voices, these moments that made us laugh until we couldn't breathe, they stay with us forever. Which of these transformations surprised you the most today? Was it Tim Matheson still leading a hit show at 78? Was it Karen Allen hand-making cashmere in a small Massachusetts town? Or was it learning that Kevin Bacon's entire career started with one line in a fraternity house? And let me ask you one more thing. If you could go back, just for one evening, to sit on that old sofa next to someone you love, with the lights low and a movie just starting, what would you give to do it? Share your stories in the comments below.
I read every single one of them, and I mean that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for remembering. And thank you for keeping these beautiful memories alive.